Hello students, in this part we'll be learning about the location of human heart and its internal and external structure. Human heart is a muscular organ that pumps the blood throughout the body. Human heart is located in the thoracic cavity in mediastinum. Mediastinum is the area in the chest between the lungs. Actually, it is a membranous partition between the lungs, and your heart fits in the cardiac notch. Cardiac notch is a lateral deflection to accommodate the heart. It is a depression in the left lung where your heart fits in. So actually your heart is not towards the left side of your body. It is located in the center, just tilted towards the left. And since your left lung accommodates your heart, your left lung is comparatively smaller as compared to the right lung. Your heart is a pear-shaped triangular organ with a length of 12 centimeter and a width of 9 centimeter. Your heart is actually the size of a tight fist. When we talk about the structure of the heart externally, your heart, when we look it from outside, has presence of certain depressions or grooves. These depressions or grooves are called as sulcus. There are two sulcus present in your heart, the coronary sulcus and the interventricular sulcus. Coronary sulcus marks the boundary between the atrial chambers and the ventricles, and interventricular sulcus marks the boundary between two adjacent ventricles. Okay. Now if we talk about the weight of human heart, the weight varies in males and females. In males, the weight is 280 to 340 grams, and in female, it is 230 to 280 grams. Your heart is a muscular structure which is covered by a membranous covering, a membranous sac called as pericardium, also referred as pericardial sacs. The outer membrane of pericardium is called as parietal pericardium, and the inner one is called as the visceral pericardium. In between these two pericardial membrane flows a fluid which is called as the pericardial fluid. Approximately 15 ml of pericardial fluid is present in between these two membranes. Now, what is the function of this pericardial sac and the pericardial fluid? Pericardial fluid reduces friction. It allows the membranes to glide over each other with each heartbeat and reduces the friction between heart and other structures in the chest. It also protects the heart from the mechanical injury, so it acts as a shock absorber. When we talk about the internal structure of human heart, the first thing that comes to our mind is the chamber of human heart. So there are 4 chambers, 2 atrial chambers and 2 ventricles. 2 atrial chambers are right atrium and the left atrium, and the 2 ventricles are right ventricle and the left ventricle. When we see, when we compare the two of all 4 chambers, when we see the atrial chambers and the ventricles, atrium have thinner wall as compared to the ventricles because they need to pump the blood to the ventricles only. So they don't need a more muscular wall. So they are comparatively thinner wall structures since they have to pump the blood to the next compartment. But when we look at the ventricles, ventricles have thick muscular walls because they need to pump the blood to farther distance. And when we compare these two ventricles, right ventricle and the left ventricle has thickest wall. Since the right ventricle needs to pump the blood only to the lungs, but the left ventricle needs to pump the blood to the entire body from head to toe. Since it has to distribute the blood to the farther distance, it needs more muscular wall. Now, we'll be discussing the blood vessels associated with the human heart. The first blood vessel is vena cava, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava brings the blood from the upper parts of our body, and inferior vena cava brings the blood from the lower parts of your body. And both of these blood vessels, they bring deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. The next blood vessel is pulmonary veins. There are two pairs of pulmonary veins, one pair from each lung. So one pair from the right lung and the other pair from the left lung. But all these four pulmonary veins pours the oxygenated blood to the left atrium. The next blood vessel is pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. And the next blood vessel is aorta. Aorta is the biggest or the largest artery of the body that carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to all the body parts. Now your heart is a muscular structure. That means it also requires oxygen, it also requires energy. So there must be a blood vessel that brings oxygenated blood to the wall of the heart. The name of that artery is coronary artery, which arises from the base of aorta, distributes oxygenated blood. So your heart is able to utilize that oxygen, and there is formation of ATP for your heart to function. After utilization of oxygen, deoxygenated blood is returned via coronary vein into the right atrium with the help of an opening called as coronary sinus. Okay, so oxygenated blood comes from the aorta. From the aorta arises the coronary artery, delivers oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is returned back to the heart with the help of cardiac or the coronary vein into the right atrium with the help of coronary sinus. Now, there is a condition. What will happen if there is a blockage in some artery? So here we'll be discussing about what will happen if there is a blockage in the coronary artery. Coronary artery is the major artery that supplies your heart with oxygen and nutrients. And the blockage in the coronary artery leads to a condition called as myocardial infarction, which is popularly called as a heart attack. Here the term myocardial is derived from myocardium, which means the muscular wall of your heart. So what happens in this condition? There is deposition of cholesterol in the coronary artery. Cholesterol gets deposited in the artery, leading to blockage, and due to this blockage, the lumen of coronary artery gets reduced, leading to decreased blood flow to the heart. So your heart does not get enough oxygenated blood. Enough blood does not reach the heart. So what happens in this condition? Your heart becomes tired. There is no energy, so the heart fails to work. Due to this pressure created in the artery, there is a feeling of tightness and pain. And this condition, this pain that arises because of heart attack is called as angina pectoris. That's all for today. In the next class, we'll be learning about the internal structure further.